Hey guys, Scar9 here, welcome back to my channel today, and in this video I want to have a discussion about whether or not 6v6 Iron Banner is better than 4v4 Iron Banner. Now if you guys don't know, this was the first Iron Banner in Destiny 2 to actually feature 12 players in one match versus the 8 that we have seen in the 6 months leading up to this, and I want to have a big discussion about it. I personally enjoyed it a lot, but I really want to go over the pros and cons and see what you guys are feeling, just like we did with the 8 versus 6 man Rumble last week. So to start off, I put out a poll on my YouTube channel. Over 700 of you guys voted. Thank you so much. And 89% of you seem to favor 6v6 Iron Banner. And I'm going to get into some of my favorite comments, kind of describing why. And then I'm also going to take a look at a comment describing why that person likes 4v4 more. I was going to pick more 4v4 comments, but there really weren't that many constructive ones to choose from. So I went with the very best one that I felt like would add most to the conversation. So let's just go ahead and start off with the Aussie Ninja. His comment says, team shotting and clumping can still be an issue, but it pops up much less in 6v6. I can't wait to see this in the casual playlists where people aren't sweating 24/7. Now, I completely agree with this. I find it really odd personally that there is less team shotting in a mode where there are actually 4 extra people in the match. That seems extremely counterintuitive. You think if the teams are going to be larger, there's going to be more incentive for all those teammates to be moving around and shooting things together, but that was definitely not my experience. In my extended playtime this week, I've found this much less common than normal, which is definitely refreshing for Destiny 2. Now, Dup the Truth says, I like 6v6 better. I found more 1v1 duels and sometimes the matches got pretty intense. I loved every bit of it. A lot of people say the maps are too small, but are they? It would have been cool to see an overlay of Destiny maps versus Destiny 2 maps. Now, once again, I'd completely agree with most of this. With the less prevalent team shooting, obviously I found myself in way more 1v1 situations, which I always enjoy because they help me become a better player. However, Dup brought up a pretty good other point, the map size. Are they too small in Destiny 2? Could they be bigger? Is the average size in Destiny 2 any different than the average size in Destiny 1? I definitely think some of the maps are either structured in a weird way or are much too small for Iron Banner. For instance, Endless Vale, which for some reason seemed to be by far the most popular map, I must have played this twice or even 3 times as many times as any of the other maps, was so tiny that if you did not manage to get the initial momentum and the initial capture on the B flag, you would almost always be spawn trapped, which is definitely not leading to a fun game. I love the map, but it's simply just not built for 12 people running around, which is something that our next comment also hits on. So this next comment is from Mom Is That You Too. The team shotting in 6v6 was awful and only a few maps were large enough for 12 players. I feel like Bungie just tried to optimize the Crucible for 4v4 and then decided to slap on an extra 4 players to every game, and now it's horrifying with all the power ammo laying around. Now there's some things in this comment I don't necessarily agree with, like the team shotting and the power ammo. I felt like power ammo had a pretty good balance in this, but I do agree with, like I said, some of the maps being too small or not being just right for 12 players. Obviously, this game was built around 4v4 Crucible, and Bungie was feeling very strongly that it would do very well, and unfortunately, that was not exactly the case. Now, some of the maps work perfectly well with 12 players. For instance, Javelin 4, Vostok, and Distant Shores all were amazing for this many players. They played very well, you had a lot of intense situations, but it wasn't everyone just running around spawn trapping and team shotting, which got very annoying on some other maps, such as Burnout or Endless Vale. But what separates these maps? Because I would not say that a map like Javelin 4 is necessarily that much larger than a map like Burnout. I really think it's more of the structure. On the maps that I really did like Javelin 4 and Vostok, there's very clearly 3 lanes that don't have much crossover. They're fairly isolated from each other. However, on maps like Endless Vale, while there are still 3 main lanes, it is extremely easy to jump between the 3, especially in the middle of the map by flag B. So because of this, it led to a lot more chaotic gameplay, a lot more flanking, and unfortunately, a lot more spawn trapping, because even if you spawned in a bad location, you couldn't just pick one of the lanes and run away from your encounters. You always had someone being able to quickly get in your way and kill you before you could move anywhere. Now, the only 2 maps I really had problems with this were Endless Vale and Burnout. I think if those were removed from the rotation or made a whole lot less common, it would not be that big of a deal. But those other maps that I mentioned, Javelin 4, Vostok, Distant Shore, etc., those are all very good examples of how 6v6 could work in Destiny 2, in my opinion. Now, the last comment comes from Slayer of the Lag. He says, I like 6v6 the best because it doesn't feel as competitive as 4v4, but it also gives us the ability to play with more friends, unlike in 4v4. Some of the maps are a bit too small for 6v6, but most of the maps feel balanced enough. Once again, that hits on the map size, but the very important thing about this comment is running with 5 friends. Personally, whenever my team is doing a large activity such as a raid, whenever we're done, we're not just done for the night. We want to go do other activities, and it really sucks having to leave out 2 people to go run Crucible. This is much nicer. I really hope 6v6 becomes the fundamental size for all casual game modes, because it's really nice having a team and having that many people to talk with, to joke around with, to have fun with, and honestly, I just like it a lot better. Now, the pros and cons of 6v6. Why do I personally like 6v6 better? Because I do, in my opinion, 6v6 is what Iron Banner should continue to be. It is optimal, it is a lot of fun, but what do I like about it? Now, we've already covered most of the things. Team shotting is a lot less prevalent, you find yourself in more 1v1 situations, and it is also very easy for you to make really nice plays because there are more players on the enemy team. So if you want to run in with that clutch super, if you have heavy and you do very well with it, that shows a lot more with more players in the lobby, which is pretty cool. It's also harder to spawn trap on most maps, which is very nice, and you can play with more of your friends. In my opinion, 6v6 is also a lot more balanced than 4v4 because instead of the lobby having 1/4 of the people running heavy whenever it spawns every time, that is now shifted to 1 out of 6 people per team, or 1/6 of the lobby actually having heavy ammo whenever it spawns, meaning that it's easier to take these people out, you can focus on them, and heavy is not as dominant, which is very nice. If Bungie works and really nails down the spawning system and generally goes in a larger map design direction with Warmind and going on past that DLC, I think 6v6 will absolutely be the staple that it needs to be in order to help the Crucible of Destiny 2 get better and better and succeed on a more large scale. So all around, I really love 6v6 Iron Banner. Once again, if you did not partake in this vote, if you disagree with me, if you want to add anything to discussion, let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to read your guys' thoughts. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like rating and to share it with your friends. If you are interested in watching either of the 2 videos on screen, you can click their respective invitations to be taken to them. If you are brand new to my channel, make sure to hit the giant version of my logo on screen to be subscribed for more awesome Destiny 2 videos and live streams. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and I will see you in my next video.